But
All
yeah,
right. So
meshing with a bot is really useful.
how are we feeling about branches as to-do list items?
I like that idea. I'm not going to bit much more, but much more thought than yesterday.
Okay.
But I do like that idea because a to-do is very much like a prompt.
Yep.
So essentially, it's the same thing. It's like, well, here's one list of. Oh, bloody hell! Sorry, man.
You okay?
Yeah, no, I'm just getting incoming from people I don't need to talk to right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's very like a prompt. I quite like the idea. I've not given it much more thought, so I don't really have anything more
Okay.
to say over it. But
Okay.
the one thing so I have done is I went through and tried the various models
Mm-hmm.
on this scheme, and the 3.5 does really shit.
Yeah.
Um, so there's the response from Show Me All Agents with the last name begins with W. Fine, that's correct. Now, I'm not sure whether I'm doing this wrong, but I always go to 3.5, which is turbo,
Mm-hmm.
and then give the same response or same prompt, and it's like, no, that's clearly not true. This might be an artifact of just this
You
environment.
should go back up to where you asked it. First, yeah.
Yeah.
Delete it and then insert it there, like. Yeah, and delete the assistant. Delete that one too. Just delete it all.
Yeah. Delete these two as well.
And then see what it does.
And try again. I was quite surprised with it because that's a really quite straightforward thing that 3.5 should be able to handle.
But does it have the annotations for the annotations not with the data here?
No, it is. This is
No, because show me where the last name is.
Right, here we go. First name, last name. And there is one that exists that's W. Somewhere down here. It's a short list. Where's the one that's W? Wilson. So last name, Canadian's last name, Wilson. Right, that'd be really quite simple. Now, I suspect it's, this is before we came on the call, I was going to put up an entirely new assistant and try again.
Yeah, I wonder why 3.5 fails there.
It's weird, isn't it? It's weird. So anyway, I suspect it's something to do with the artifact of this environment. So I think probably switching models fucks up a bit, maybe. Not sure. It shouldn't. But, well, I can delete everything back because there's nothing useful here. I can delete everything.
You might have hit the token. You might have hit the token limit. Like the window was too big, maybe.
No, the window's not that large. I've done much larger. So here we are. There's the prompts. There's the data. Boom, boom, boom. I can get rid of that because I don't really care. Don't get rid of that. Right, so we should be back to the point where all I've done is system prompt and the data. Let's
Okay.
try again. So I'm doing this live, but
That's all
this
right.
is what I was doing just before the call. Nothing.
Oh dear.
It's not even properly formatted. It's weird.
Is there a difference between Turbo and Turbo 16K?
Yes. Well, actually, I can try.
If you want to rerun it, you don't have to delete the user message. You can just hit run again.
Well, it doesn't matter in this case because this is scratch. Huh. there is a difference. That's a correct answer.
Hmm.
Okay, cool. So anyway, I was playing around with this idea that if you're clear enough on your system prompts and on your data structuring and the data with the descriptions and so on, all that good stuff that we were talking about last time, then it follows that you should be able to regress to a lower model and it still works. And the point that it breaks should inform why.
Right.
And then you can go back up to the higher model when it becomes half the cost and, all that Moore's Law stuff. And be sure it comes through. But it's quite a nice test, I think. But I suspect on that last one I'm getting some artifacts, but 16K might. I'm going to try through each of these. So
That's
the
really
next thing.
weird. I think that maybe it was hitting 3.5 instruct, and 3.5 instruct has got so the latest model is GPT 3.5 Turbo 0125. It's got a 16K window, but Turbo Instruct has a 4K window.
Let's try it with 0125. Same.
That should be the same, because it should be...
Okay, well, maybe there's something... Because remember what we want to do is you have this escalation of models. So you start with cheap, fast, bad, and then you have the kind of the court saying, not good enough, matey. Try another one. And also you can go laterally as well. So let's get a cheap, fast Gemini, cheap, fast Llama.
Well, I started thinking about the concept of seed programming, where if you, what is the minimum amount of structure you had where you could cause the CRM to be generated from a couple of pages of text and a bunch of agents looping around themselves to grow out all of the test cases, because it knows a lot about a CRM and the test cases for it and things that it would expect. And so with a few keywords and instructions, I think you could cause a very complex program to form from a very basic start. Now, you're never going to get there by playing around with the droplet. What you need to do is get the system to the point and run a compaction on it, where it's like, okay, I want you to work backwards to generate a seed, and then try the seed and see what didn't go and what worked and what didn't, and in that way you can make iterative changes to the finished program and then run the compaction, and the compaction works backwards to get you a seed that would have covered your latest set of tests and specifications. And in that way, it almost feels like making a program from seed is better, because the model is using its intelligence to, the model knows how to talk to the model, and so it...
Well, that's an interesting one, because maybe this, as far as you can see, 4.0 is basically faster than 4. It's not doing anything more, but remember what I was doing originally way back, which was, where's the narrative? Create a bot to create other bots, right? Which is basically, you have one bot, and then you talk to the bot to create other bots of any kind, and then it's judged, and then you have this virtuous loop. Is what it's looking for.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm convinced that you can make, with that loop, you can work, you can have a highly complex system and work backwards and keep playing around with it until you've got this tiny, tiny thing that fires up that loop and gives you the equivalent of what your complicated, highly specified thing was.
Yeah, yes.
And seed seems fascinating because it illustrates how stupid it is to try and hold on to your code. like if you can show seed programming at work, it's kind of like, well, what does that say about the LLM? It says that within the LLM, all these programs exist, and all you're really doing, it's like backwards programming. Because when you
There's really yeah, sorry, go on.
yeah, when you write a program in conventional code, you're going forwards, like you're putting in the program and making it work.
Yeah,
When you're
yeah.
working with an LLM, you're
There's a
pulling the
large
program
language model.
out.
Yeah.
You're extracting it from all possible programs. Like it has covered every possible.
Yeah, you're sculpting from a piece of marble instead of putting pebbles together. Yeah.
Right. Whereas like conventional
Um,
code is additive. LLM code should be subtractive, or you're trying
yeah,
to
but
take things away from the
there's a
LLM.
really good idea here. Now, about 2 minutes ago, you said something really interesting, which was an idea. If I caught you right, with HAL, which is I don't know if you're using HAL v2 yet, but it's pretty good. It's pretty
Mm-hmm.
good. There's a few things I'm going to tweak, but you'll get better and better. But he's the general purpose bot, and he's controlled to not let you be ambiguous. So unless he knows what the intent is
Mm-hmm.
with the must, coulds, and so on, then you won't allow you to execute, a question
Right.
because you haven't been clear.
Right.
Now, so if you were to use, I'm just thinking on the fly here, so if you use that to generate a new system, I don't know, inventory system,
Mm.
right? Once Howard got his your intent right, then you could ask Hal quite reasonably to generate 1,000 tests for what an inventory system would do,
Mm.
and then you work back from the tests
Mm.
and say, okay, given these tests, how would you break this up? Okay, so you'd have items and I don't know
Right.
lots and warehouses and all that kind of thing.
Right.
Because we can, well, now we've got the kind of seed of what it looks like, or we've got an idea of what the
Yeah.
architecture is. We
So
can show
seed
it a blank
seed
one.
programming is alluring to me because we could go into a new company, and while we're just conversing with the incumbent operators of that company as to how their systems work and what does what here and there, the seed technology can be busy building what it thinks is the system we need and running all these tests and compacting it down and doing all this stuff without us having to, like, the conventional way of doing a program is to understand the problem and then sort of
Yeah,
build
top
your
level and all that kind
understanding
of thing. Yeah.
into the code, whereas LLM programming, I think, is completely inverted. I think it's that the LLM, from a cold start, the LLM knows more about the business than you do already,
Inverted programming, I love that.
right? And so it already knows more about the problem domain than you. And so your goal is really to see where it fits into the current problem domain and tell it what's different or what's wrong with what
Yeah.
it did. It makes you more of a recipient, or you're doing user acceptance testing as opposed to programming.
So I love this. I love this a lot. It's an iteration on what I was trying to do on this screen.
Yeah, you've
which
been trying to
was-
do seed. You
Yeah.
were trying to do that from the start, and I think it's possible, but it also needs to go backwards as well. Like, I need to be able to do some dedicated tuning to it, run the seed compactor, and have it regenerate the seed. You know,
Yes, yes, and I think my gut says that the key is tests,
right?
which we can generate, 10,000 tests and so
Right,
on. And
right.
then that's your lump of marble, and you just chip away, going,
That's right.
I don't really care about that, that's never going to happen, and so on. You can even take that 10,000 and talk to HAL and saying, summarize this sort of tests. Well, there's one test that involves putting something into inventory, something taking out. Yeah, care about that. There's another one for the color of the inventory item. Don't care about that. And he'd run through all the tests and remove those ones that he's generated for whatever reason that you don't care about. So now it's subtractive.
Right.
So you're starting with the whole search space.
Right. You
honing
start
in.
with the full program, and your job is to cut it
Yeah.
down to form, as opposed to build it up.
Yeah.
Like
because
you
building
have
up
for the first
is-
time, you have more software than you know what to do with.
Right, yeah. Well, this is really interesting because so I tried the subtractive. This was not the very first one. This was the second one, and some of the comments here. Oh, this is when I was saving the entire session, which may be useful in the future. But the result was, yeah, okay, I got a recipe bot out of it. But it didn't seem clear to me that when I tried to use the kind of improvement cycle on the bots themselves, I couldn't see whether the what was better or worse. So I used the create a bot to create a bot. That bot created, I think it's a recipe bot. There it is, just because it's easy to do, and then put in a judge bot in order to say, well, was that a good thing? And then try and get the creator bot to improve itself. That kind of fell flat quite quickly. It felt like a bit like, when you try and hold a broom on the end of your hand, it's a balancing act, and it fell over quite quickly because it diverged. And it's like, well, which is better? I'm not sure. But if you go from tests, then you know what better looks like.
Yeah. There's a bit of feedback there though that the bot needs to recognize where a test was overly constraining, and by relaxing it, it would allow a better solution, especially if the tests were generated synthetically. They were generated by a bot as opposed to generated by a real human need.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's an interesting point, actually. Sorry.
I think that this seed thing is feels like the thing to be able to demonstrate. Like, if the CRM is built in this way, it feels more robust and more predictable if you can drop in, like, let's say 3 pages of text and $50, and then it spits out the CRM that passes all of the tests that we've accumulated over time. That seems like a cleaner thing than something that we hacked away at for months and months with, like,
by far.
it's pure. Like, it's pure.
Fancy a game. Oh, we got 15 minutes.
Okay.
This is unscripted and will probably not work.
I love your optimism. Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. So let's. Here's a thought. So I'm just going to do. And for some reason, if you put the instructions there, it doesn't come over to Playground anymore. I don't know why. Right, where's HAL?
You'd think the guys building AGI could get a user interface right.
It's actually quite common building that they haven't bothered themselves
Right. What does that say?
Okay, so okay, I want to build an system. This is going to be interesting.
Inventory system.
Great. What type of items? One food and fruit. specific functionalities. Yes. 3 technologies. Ignore tech and deployments. I want a database. For particular user interface.
Chat, conversive.
Interface.
Oh, okay.
Only NL.
Doesn't know what NL is.
Oh, sure it does. Yeah. It does. Well, actually, let's try and be nice to it. I'm getting really sloppy with the typing because it just kind of gets it. Do you have constraints or limitations that need to be considered? Constraints are I have 11 employees, 2 warehouses, a cash flow needs to be managed. Manager who has authority over everything and deliveries of food and fruit to customers. Okay, what I'm trying to do here is, can I get it to generate a whole bunch of test cases? Okay, yep. Agree. Now, generates 100 test cases for an inventory system based on my intent.
So just quickly here, again, specifying tests is a conventional way of doing things. In the NL world, what you might do is specify some personas of bots in terms of their intelligence level, background knowledge, and all that, and ask them to act as users and just do what do they call that? Monkey fuzzing, or just fuzz the system and check that the original goals were being met, and sort of like that's the way that you would build up the tests. You wouldn't ask it to say the test raw. You'd ask it to make some users who would then do natural language interactions with.
Okay. Yeah. So for each and not being constrained just to this list, generate a list of users of this system. And were you saying use cases, perhaps, would you call it? So personas? No.
Personas, I think, or archetypes.
Well, personas probably knows more about personas because it's an overused word. Okay, so we got manager, warehouse guy, supervisor,
Tom Harris, Lisa Brown, Mary Evans, Robert King. Okay, very white-sounding names.
I'm going to go for a money shot here. I'm going to go for a money shot.
You mean a moonshot, I think.
Yes. Thank you.
That's
it's important.
That's a very different kind of shot, my friend. That's very different thing.
Okay, we got 10 minutes left. See what we can get out here. So, here is an example of another system which you must use a similar format for. You are to create the system based on all of your responses above in JSON. Okay.
Did you want to? Oh, yeah, you were going to paste something.
Boom. Okay.
Come
Come on now, you can do it. Come on now.
What you did?
So I've just dumped in the CRM.
That's nasty. That's a nasty thing.
Let's give it a go. Oh, look at that. It's got permissions in there. That's the manager records. Yeah. It's given it values. It's got the descriptions in there. Okay. Boom, boom.
Oh, hey, Maxwell.
Yes.
If we focus on the ability to make the bot make the system, then as the models increase in skill and capacity, we will amplify that with the quality of the systems we put out. That's the missing, that's where we must position ourselves. Otherwise, we run the risk of being displaced by a super good model.
Right, I agree. And
But if
almost accidentally, that's where we're positioned at the moment, right?
yeah, but that's what seed technology is about, I think.
Oh, fuck.
What happened?
Yeah, I've been getting this.
What is it?
I end up there's a limit inside of Chrome where it can handle.
Inside of Chrome?
Yeah, it's a Chrome thing. I need to go in and effectively delete its cache because
Chrome's crashed.
Yeah, this is a Chrome problem. This delayed me for like 2 or 3 hours.
What the fuck?
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, where was it? I can't remember.
With lots of notifications. What the fuck?
Yeah, and then it was somewhere down here. I can't remember now. All right, okay, we don't have time. We've got 6 minutes left. No, there's a limit in Chrome that I kept on exceeding when I was doing interesting stuff, and it goes just blank. This is not OpenAI's fault.
Oh right, like something like a GPU rendering issue or something. Anyway,
I've maxed out all the limits, saying I don't really care.
Right. Yeah.
But every now and again, just black screens me. Like,
okay. So if we can get to a position where we've got a good way of using the AI to make the system, that's important because then as the models improve, our systems improve, rather than us having to try and keep up all the time. And I think that a good future state or a good idealized target is that the smaller you can make the seed to make a better fitting end result system, that indicates the strength of the model and the strength of the seed as well. Like, for example, the smallest seed for a 3.5 only system that could meet all the constraints would likely be either impossible or large. But a 4.0 seed would be plausible, I think, and maybe still large. But as the models get better and better, that seed becomes smaller and smaller. That's really the
I think interesting enough, I'm a bit gutted at this because I was thinking there might be a magical moment there. So the seed at the moment with 4.0, I think, would be you dump down some information about the context, inventory, fruit and veg, all that kind of thing that I was asking about the intent, and got an intent. I didn't actually read the intent. But when it knows its intent, that's the first thing. The second thing I think was going to be, the reason I was quite confident that something would happen there, is if you refer to something else, which is in the kind of vector space of apps, close, say, and make it a bit like that. I think that's all you need. Intent and a bit like that. And I think you'd an 80%, after 10 minutes.
Right. So let's see. Where did you get to? You were in. Oh, you were in the playground, not in Threads, right?
Yeah. I need to go and find
Yeah.
my
Okay.
notes about how to fix this problem because right now that means all my other bots will also black screen.
Oh, that's shitty, dude.
Yeah.
Bugger. Okay. All right. Well, I'll. I think my time is best spent for the rest of the night doing the actual coding so that I can get you out of this kind of problem.
Yeah. Cool.
Unless you
All
want to
right.
keep, if you want more stuff, I'm very happy to spend the time. I enjoy these sessions.
I enjoy them as well, but there's plenty to do with our previous recording,
Okay. All right. Cool.
as discussed, and there's a couple
All right.
more interesting things here. So
All
I've
right.
got plenty.
Okay. Cool.
I'll
Cool.
see you tomorrow. Yeah,
Sounds good, my friend. I'll see you then.
nice one. See ya.
Okay. Bye.